Ladies and gentlemen, the fashionista that is Jake Hager. How great does Jake look, ladies and gentlemen?
One.
Always styling and profiling. Yep. I have to ask, first question, you look amazing. Who are you wearing? Walk us through this style fit.
I'm wearing Amazon by Prime.
Okay. Sponsorship coming soon.
$30, comes the next day.
Nice. Comes the next day. Jake, we're so honored to have you here in Manchester. Give it up one more time.
Yeah.
This is an absolute superstar, one of my favorites, all the way here in the UK. How has For the Love of Wrestling been treating you so far?
So well. I think everybody knows I had a little bit of a rough day. I want to tell everyone I'm doing great. Thank you.
Oh.
Yesterday. But this has been so fun to come over across the pond, as I like to say, and see our fans. I really feel like the UK is like the biggest pro wrestling market in the world, so I love coming here.
Yeah. What are your experiences in the UK? I'm sure you came here on tours with WWE and things like that. Have you had any time to actually experience the UK culture, soak up the culture, go to some pubs? What do you love about the UK?
I love the accents. They get me every time.
Yeah. We love your accents, by the way. Gorgeous.
I got to tour London pretty extensively and got to go on top of the U2 and go to the Tower of London and the Bloody Gates and all that. So I got to see, in Nottingham, the castle there.
Yep.
Robin Hood, something. I'm looking like an idiot, but it was a while ago.
Yeah. No, I've been to Nottingham. They have a pub they swear it's the oldest pub in the UK, and I'm like, I think they're working me on that one.
No. If that's the one in Nottingham, it's true. Because
Is
I
it
know
true?
I used to, genuine trivia, I used to work with the wife of the landlord. It's true, that is the oldest recorded pub in England.
Really?
It's true. He said it's true.
He's dropping that UK knowledge on us, Jake.
Hey, speaking of pubs, cheers.
Right? What would you like? There's a bar right over there. We can get you whatever you want. I know a guy. What would you like?
That'd be service right there.
Yeah. That's service. What's up, Matt? He's got you. Matt's my hookup. Give it up for Matt, everybody. Matt's our bartender and our friend of For the Love of Wrestling. In all seriousness, though, so we have such a great roster. As you can see, we've got Trish, Al Snow, Lita, Rikishi. In this particular convention and this roster, who are you excited to see this weekend?
Always excited to see Trish and Lita. Them together, it's just very special. Rikishi, I feel like I'm part Samoan, so I like seeing Keish back there. And then I've done a lot of tours with Ziggler and Morrison, so it's always good to see old friends. Yeah.
There's so many good people here for sure. I have to ask, as a fan, we love to hear your fan stories because we're fans of you. When you were growing up watching wrestling or whenever you got into wrestling, who did you look up to? Like, who were your stars that you were like, I wanted to be them, or they resonated with me? Who were your guys or girls in wrestling?
I was NWO Wolfpack, Too Sweet for Life. The Monday Night Wars really got me into it. I was in 7th grade, and so after that, I was hooked. I couldn't figure out for the life of me how they were doing it. I still thought it was real in 7th grade, and I was like, wait, he just did a flip. How did he, couldn't figure it out, but I got smartened up later. But it's, that's the cool thing about wrestling. It's one of those things that either you love it or you don't, and then if you do, you come together for the love of it. Is that cheesy?
Yeah. Well, we're coming together for the love of wrestling. Cheap pun, but I made it. So in terms of wrestlers that you loved, and you were in WWE for a very long time, you've had an amazing career, is there anyone that you met from wrestling that you were like a bit starstruck from, that you thought, this is a big deal?
Wrestlers I looked up to was very cool to meet. I got to meet like Dr. Death's Steve Williams, who's a big Oklahoma guy, and he worked with me in my developmental stages. I got to meet ZZ Top backstage. I thought that was pretty cool, and they like knew everything about my career, so I was like, all right, I'm cool.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Any ZZ Top fans? There's one guy that raised his hand. Tremendous. Well, honestly, I mean, you've had such a great career. What would you say? We were asking this to some other stars today because we have career highlights for you. We could mark out for you all day long, and I will. But for you personally, when you look back at your career, and you're still going, obviously, and you're still amazing, but what career highlights stand out for you?
Definitely winning the World Heavyweight Championship. We the People.
Yay.
With Dirty Dutch, Zeb Colter. I feel like that was just such a cool moment. And then we had like the perfect opponent with Lana, who's here tonight,
Yep.
CJ Perry, and her husband. And it was just like one of those moments that was like, you have to like have the right timing for it to like work out. And I really enjoyed it. I liked being a baby face. My ego was getting like tooted, all the cheers. And then working in AEW has been great as well. I really enjoy all the inner circle stuff. Really proud that we won Faction of the Year in 2021 after the second Stadium Stampede. It's been a lot of fun for me to go to one place to the other and have the differences and really get to love wrestling in different ways. Yeah.
It's cool. Sometimes you get like a renewed love for wrestling in a different company.
Absolutely.
But as fans, we don't know what goes on behind the scenes. We're not in the locker rooms. So if you can give us a little exclusive just between us, between WWE's locker room and AEW's locker room, like what are the differences in the vibes and the people? What's it like in both locker rooms, backstage?
Can I say penis size?
Totally. Just between us. A little powwow, Matt gets it.
At AEW, it's definitely a younger roster with not that much television time. When we started in 2019, a majority of them had very little TV time, didn't know how to make commercials, didn't know how to set matches up a certain way. So it's cool to see the young stars there and being able to work with them and have them grow. And then we got so many veterans there that are like really helping out. And I really enjoy like certain stars like Orange Cassidy, who's just like come out of and just he's exploding. He's awesome right now. WWE, we were together like 200 days a year, sometimes more than that. So like that roster really became a family. Like we were brothers, we were sisters. We were like sometimes we were only home 36 hours and we were washing clothes and then going back out there. And so you really got close to those people.
Well, with WWE and AEW, obviously, I love that it's so diverse now. We have a lot of things to watch. TNA, AEW, WWE. Is there anyone in AEW right now that you're personally a fan of, that you think, like, when you watch their matches, you love what they're doing?
I'm going to toot Chris Jericho's horn.
Totally, yeah. Jericho. No one's cooler than Chris Jericho. That's just it.
He's all for my Mount Rushmore. He's the greatest. Very thankful for him, but also like just to see how he constantly reinvents himself and goes out there and has like very physical and killer matches. It's awesome, man. It's inspiring.
Were you a fan of his when he was in his like Y2J era? Because he's had many eras, right? Like that's what I love about Jericho is like there's so many different, like Triple H, there's so many different eras of Jericho. And by the way, spoiler alert, they're all awesome. But were you a fan of his back in the day, like when you were watching?
Oh yeah. I mean, I was a fan of his in WCW, Lionheart, Chris Jericho. He's also a great writer. He has like 4 or 5 books out, and all of them are fun to read.
And tell me you've seen him in concert as the frontman for Fozzy.
I've been on the Jericho cruise.
How was the Jericho cruise for you?
Oh, it's so much fun.
Oh my God.
It's so much fun. It's like this right here, but with more drinks.
Yeah.
Bartender. And you're on a boat. Great description.
Sorry.
Chris Brooker, you've got to take who's been on the Jericho cruise? Show of hands. I was the conductor one year, and I'll tell you what, like you said, drinks are flowing, you're on the high seas, they're literally doing live wrestling as you're on the cruise. But there's a lot of fan interaction for that as well, right? Were you just like inundated with fans every second?
Yep. Go to your room, you're like, oh, hey, good night, see you tomorrow. But it's fun because like you guys are so polite, it's never a problem. It's only a problem when they stop asking.
Right. If they stop asking, there's a problem. Well, guys, because this is Monopoly Events and we're by the fans, for the fans, let's make this an interactive Q&A. We've got Chris Brooker with the live mic. Give it up for Chris Brooker, everybody. Jake's booing him. If you have a question, just raise your hand.
I thought you had respect for Canadians called Chris, sir. But that's fine. To be fair, it's nice that you and Mr. Jericho get along, considering you did cash in your money in the bank on him and take the world title from him, so...
It's kind of ironic, right?
He always stirs the pot, this guy. He's always stirring the pot.
Someone
How dare
has to.
you?
I'm here to balance you. You're genuinely lovely, and I'm dead inside. Anyway, questions.
Put your spoon down, Chris. Put your spoon down, you pot stirrer.
Is that what young people say?
Yeah, just raise your hand if you have a question for Mr. Jake Hager.
What's your name, sir?
My name's Stephen. I'm sorry. My name's Stephen. Is there anyone from TNA that you'd like to face in the ring?
Ooh. TNA ski.
He's not there. I like, kind of going back to AEW, like Frankie Kazarian a lot. And I never got to really wrestle him. We did like one match, I think, together. So I think that'd be a fun one. Is Connor from Ascension still at TNA?
Con's there, yeah,
He's
Big
there.
Con.
Yeah, then Big Con as well. He lives right by me.
Big Con.
Big Con.
He was great. I loved the Ascension. They were amazing. Yeah. Great question. TNA.
There we go.
Cheap
What's your
plug
name,
for
sir?
myself.
George. Hey, how you doing? Have you got any stories from when you was on the road where someone did some sort of wild prank to you? You hated it then, but you can absolutely laugh your ass off about it now. But it made you so angry at the time.
And you think I'm stirring the pot? Jeez.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna need a translator. I didn't
Basically,
understand any of that.
What he said was, were there any pranks or ribs on the road that you were caught with at the time that may have made you see red, but you're laughing about it in hindsight?
What was I caught with on the road?
Any ribs, road stories about ribs on you?
Pranks,
Oh, man,
pranks on the road.
We used to try and rib Mike Chioda, the referee, all the time. And we were going overseas. We were going over here once, and we were trying to get his bag flagged at security. So we took a bottle of baby oil, and we may have tied it to a sexual device that was shaped like a microphone. The idea was like, whose bag is this? And then they pull it out, but at the last second, he started like, oh, I better check this bag. And he started taking things out at check-in, and he found it, and he threw it at my head about 40 miles an hour.
I love that you said you may have.
Allegedly.
Like this is allegedly.
Allegedly.
There's no proof.
Allegedly.
Sweet Chioda, if he's ever here, we love Chioda. We'll get a response. But you said may have, so it was allegedly. Yeah. No one was inducted in that at all.
It was definitely over 10 milliliters, wasn't it? That's the thing.
Great question. Thank you. If you have a question, just raise your hand.
There we go. So come on down. Welcome, sir. What's your name, my friend?
My name's Zane.
And what's your question?
Hi, Jake. I was just wondering, in an ideal world, if there was like an AEW versus WWE pay-per-view and the current roster, who would you pick to fight, and what other dream matches, AEW versus WWE, would you like to see?
If there was an AEW versus WWE pay-per-view, who would I put on the card?
Who would you like to face, sir?
Oh, that's a great question. That'd be fun. You think that pay-per-view would ever happen?
I wish.
I mean, I always wanted, I got into MMA because I wanted to make myself a bigger pro wrestler, and I wanted to go back to the Fed because AEW wasn't around at the time, and I wanted to go to the top, fight Roman Reigns.
Jake Hager versus Roman Reigns?
Oh my gosh, what a dream matchup. How good is Roman Reigns? Are you still watching current WWE? And I was going to ask this too. Are you still watching current MMA product as well?
I watch more MMA than WWE. I try to stay current. I mean, when you stop learning, that's when, you probably need to hang it up. So you got to always keep putting energy into getting better.
Sure.
But I enjoy MMA more than anything. It's kind of where my roots are from. Wrestling, the boxing. It's so much fun to get in that cage and they lock it. Right before my first fight, my coach came up to me, like they just locked the door and he goes, "You have permission to hurt this guy." I was like, ooh. I like
Bro,
that.
MMA, I have to be, it's so violent. Like, even for me, I was like, wow, it's so violent. Who are you currently watching in MMA that you really enjoy their work?
I think PFL is exciting right now. That they had a pay-per-view where it was Bellator champs versus PFL, and I had a lot of Bellator friends on that card, and so it was cool to see them kind of have that WWE, AEW pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's so many cool bare knuckle boxing events. I think bare knuckle will probably go on to replace like MMA and be more popular soon.
Ooh. You're like an oracle. That's a For the Love of Wrestling exclusive. You heard it here first.
We're doing good for those
We
today.
sure did.
First of all, could you just check this and make sure it's okay?
Oh, your
Just
coffee's
make sure
here.
that's all right.
I got your coffee.
Yeah,
Here you go, sir.
there we go.
It's a vanilla latte just for you. You got to get that caffeine fix. Coffee, coffee, coffee. Lovely.
It's hot.
It's piping hot just for you.
Don't burn your tongue.
Listen, it is day 2 of For the Love of Wrestling. We got to get our
is.
caffeine
Did
fix.
you roofie this?
You gotta take
Just a
it.
couple. We just
Let it
want you to
chill.
relax a little bit.
Now the answers are going to come out.
Now we're going to get the candid answers. Do we have time for a question or two?
We
Mr.
have a
Brooker?
question. May I throw one to you, sir? Because it's
course.
something. When you the whole the story with Dutch, with Zeb Colter, and when it came back with the phrase, of course, "We the people." Did you ever think it was going to be as huge as it was, and people get behind it? And was there a moment you went, "Oh, this is something special"?
Just when I think you can't look any dumber, you go and ask a great question like that. That's a great question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, question mark? Yeah, thank you.
So I actually wrote that storyline and pitched it, and then they kind of like trimmed it and took away from what it was, and it became We the People. I think me and Dutch knew how popular and how big it was going to get, and at the time, the WWE didn't understand how big it was. And so it was really cool to see it explode at first, and it got a lot of mainstream attention. It would get a lot of mainstream attention today, too. We need to bring it back. And it was definitely one of my favorite storylines. I think we could have done so much more, especially with the Real Americans tagging with Claudio. That was one of my favorites. Like we were a good tag team, and we had a lot of great matches. And I wish we could have stuck together a little bit longer.
Did Claudio ever tell you his ridiculous jokes?
Yes.
Okay, because I thought it was just me in Evolve days, but then apparently John Moxley has a book that has a Claudio joke in like every chapter. Do you remember any of Claudio's ridiculously horrible jokes you can tell us right now? There's so many.
I'm not that witty on the spot. If we would have talked about this in the back.
Yeah. What was it like working with Claudio, though, in all seriousness?
Oh, it's so good. He is a genius in the ring. His physical, what he can do physically is just unbelievable. His mind, though, for the ring and the way he sets up his matches, I really learned a lot from him tagging with him during that. And I can't remember any other jokes, but they're very witty. They're like, he likes to do his puns. Yeah.
I'm not putting myself over right now. I have to tell you one quick joke of Claudio's. He would say, Val, with his accent, Val, what's better than Christmas tree? Christmas 4. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. But he would laugh so hard that it was like, well, it's funny because he's laughing, I guess. He might as well. I don't know.
He's funny like once a year, and then the rest
He's
are...
funny once a year, yes. Quick question for me. Again, we're going to get there's a fan question here, but what is it like being under the learning tree of one Dutch Mantell? What was it like working with Dutch?
I'll put that up there with winning the World Heavyweight Championship. We were sitting in backstage for one of the first events, And we had just got done, and he was like, come on, let's go. And I was like, they kind of want me to wait and watch the show. And he's like, you can learn more with me 30 minutes riding down a road than sitting here watching this show. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go grab my bag then.
He's not wrong, right?
No. He's great. We got so many stories. He's gonna tell you that I'm a horrible driver, and I'm gonna say that, well, you never drove. And we really bonded. He actually lives about 20 minutes from me in Florida. And so we get to see each other regularly. And I really learned a lot from him. I still, I got spots, I got matches, I got like just the way he says things, like, and then if you think Claudio has jokes, you gotta hear it. His are actually funny though.
They're actually funny as opposed to Claudio's dad jokes. Bless his heart. We've got, who would like to see Claudio Cesaro at For the Love of Wrestling, right? He would be, and he's got to tell his jokes if he comes here for sure. Let's go to this lovely young gentleman here for a question.
Here we go. Right. What's your name, please?
Harry,
Harry, and what's your question for Jake?
why do you wear a purple hat?
Why do you wear a purple hat? Love it. Why do you?
I like this hat.
Hey, that's a viral moment. Take that home with you, Aaron. Yeah.
You know, when something gets popular, you kind of run with it. And this is so silly. A purple hat, it's so simple. But I feel like that kind of is one of the beauties of pro wrestling is the like really simple things can get popular and be cool. Do you like my hat?
Oh, he likes it. Yay. You're always
Thank you,
very
brother.
stylish. But I will say, you're stylish and you dress so well, but even if you didn't, in an airport, everyone's going to be looking at this guy just by your size alone.
When you're wearing a purple bucket hat, you can pretty much wear anything.
Yeah.
So you got to like take advantage of
Yeah.
it, right?
You're like Cavzilla right now.
What?
Who wears short shorts? You do. Give it up for the calves and quads, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll do legs
I didn't
like
buy a ticket to this show, but I'm happy I'm here. I'll tell you that. Hey-oh. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, my God. It's not even my birthday.
Are you going to tip me?
I will tip you in rosé later at the bar. A nice Provence. Matt's got it. Honestly, do we have time for one more question, Mr. Brooker?
We certainly do.
Let's do one final question, then he's got to get back to the autograph area.
We've got to go here. We have
Oh my
to go
God.
here. Stand up, my friend.
No way! Another purple bucket hat.
What's your name, my friend?
It's Ben.
Ben, welcome. And can you just display that you've come fully prepared? Show us that shirt as
Round
well.
of applause.
He's an appreciator.
That's hilarious.
Ben, please tell everyone about the card that you have that you brought.
Yeah, so I met Jake yesterday. I actually own his one-of-one card. So it's the only one in the world, and it was signed yesterday by Jake. So there you go.
Pretty cool.
Very
Pretty
cool.
And what is your question, my friend?
So the question's on the hat. Like, who was it? Someone's idea, or where did it come from, or was it just one of those things that just happened?
Sorry, we were giggling. What was the
Sorry,
question?
Val
We were-
was distracting me.
Stop it. So the hat, where did the hat come from? Was it someone's idea, or did it just happen?
So it happened with JAS, and honestly, I feel like Garcia was kind of wearing a bucket hat at the time, and we're doing a little bit of a storyline where there was dissension between Garcia, and that Chris offered him the bucket hat, and he refused, and so then it got like passed to me, and then we were just simply doing a pre-tape. And Chris kind of knows my sense of humor, like how I can deliver certain things. So he was like, hey, just say this right here and don't say anything else and don't laugh. And once we did it, like the crowd immediately reacted to it and it kind of began. And so we just stuck with it. And then I had an idea, like when the hat was gone, that I was going through withdrawals because I didn't have the hat. So I was going to add more and more chains until the JAS was going to have an intervention because I'm like dragging all my jewelry down the ramp. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Dude, Purple bucket hats. Trending now everywhere. Well, Jake Hager, I can tell you, he's going to do a little spin.
Give him a push.
Jake.
Val, give him a little push. Help him out. Little push. Help him out.
Oh, just to help you out. Should I spin you?
You're no good.
I'm the worst.
You no good.
In all seriousness, what are you looking forward to after you leave Manchester? What's on the agenda for you?
I'm looking towards AEW Dynamite on Wednesdays, big business in Boston. And then I'm looking forward to going home and seeing my kiddos and giving them hugs. I've been away like 7 days, so.
Oh, bless your heart. Well, Jake, we are so honored that you would come here all the way to Manchester. Wishing you continued success. Any final words for your fans here in the UK?
Hey, thank you guys. You've been great. I really appreciate talking with all of you. Please don't be shy or be a stranger. Come talk to me.
Yeah. He's going to go back to the autograph area, but give him some Manchester love. For the love of wrestling, Jake Hager.
Yeah, in a circle.